What's the password?
It's me.
Gotta get a new password. Everybody knows that one.
Hi.
Did you, hear about Laura?
What?
Well, she's home, out of the hospital.
I guess that I should go see her, huh?
Yeah.
What's that your plan?
Well, it's just a song. I'm getting mature. I flip past the rock stations now. I listen to the words. You know, I don't eat pizza anymore. Salads go down easier. Last Friday night, I even turned down an invitation to Alpha House. I was too tired. Freshman year, I would have cried to go to Alpha House. Let's face it, it's happened even to old Beck. What's the matter?
Nothing. You want to come with me to go see Laura?
Sure, if you think that's smart.
What's not smart about it?
You're the one with the cockeyed stare. Don't ask me. What's the matter?
Oh, I don't know where I stand with Laura anymore.
Come on, Russ. Stood by her all through the accident. I don't know where she'd be without you.
Let's hope we don't have to find out.
You don't love her anymore?
I'm in no mood to make decisions.
Are you falling in love with me?
You got your strong points.
I'm not a checklist. Answer the question.
I'm splitting. Go see Laura. If you want to come, I'm back in 20 minutes.
Dad and Jean, your father got a tip from the police, so he and Jean went on the Coast Guard cutter and got a first-hand look.
It gets worse and worse.
Well, Dad wanted to show some evidence on the news report tonight, but he decided to let the commander do the honors. Jean and I convinced him to stay a reporter.
You know I love Dad, but we've been going through some tough times. You'd think he'd... I don't know.
Laurie, he loves you very much.
Well, that's one man I've got.
I see. Well, I'll just pass blithely over that comment.
No, don't. I have to talk about this. Mom, I feel so helpless. So unattractive. Half the time Russ comes to see me, I'm wrapped up like a mummy. He's got Boris Karloff for a girlfriend.
Little post-op self-pity here?
No, just some clear thinking that I was avoiding when everything was rosy and bright.
Laurie, you sound as if you don't love Russ.
Well, maybe he doesn't love me.
Why, Laurie? What makes you think that? The way he supported you, practically mortgaging his soul.
That could have been guilt. He was driving.
I don't believe that.
I don't think he can wait for me anymore. He can't wait through my moods, and maybe I can't wait for his faith. But on top of everything else, I can't hold him off forever. There's no getting around that. He just grits his teeth and waits. And he can't anymore. I can see it in his eyes. And I bet I could love him like no one else ever could.
And that would keep him interested, right?
I don't see what being this honest with you is going to get me. I'm sorry to sound so selfish, but I know you can't understand.
Laurie, I'm going to tell you something I've never told you before. When your father and I were in college, we faced a lot of problems and decisions. It was either the two of us forever or time to go our separate ways. Neither of us cared about God then. I mean, we hardly knew him, much less asked for his guidance. I only knew that I didn't want to lose Scott. Well, one night we thought we'd found the way to some answers. But that was a lie. It wasn't an act of love. It was an act of confusion. It should have been the result of a decision, not the way to make a decision. Those were hard times for us. And we made them harder because we committed a sin. We made love before we knew what it was.
What is it, Mom?
A commitment. If he loves you, he'll wait.
How? Don't ask me how. If I knew how, it wouldn't have happened.
Well, does Vince know about the bust?
He's already on his way to Richmond.
How much was lost?
Street value? Too much. Somebody tipped the Coast Guard.
Well, it is the first bust in quite a while. Didn't you tell me when I first came aboard here that this kind of interference doesn't happen that much?
I've got guys on the street who get hauled in every day, but this bust, the amount, the chase, it makes real great news copy.
And that brings in Mr. Davidson.
Mr. Media.
Watch his report tonight. If he was involved, we'll get full coverage. He's a great chest pounder when it comes to scoops.
I've got an informant somewhere. I am tossing prime dope to the feds like bones, and I've got a lush on the payroll.
Yes, I know. Jeff Cummings.
Charlie, I'm glad you know. I wish you'd known it when you hired him.
I hired him. You're the one who referred him to me.
As a possibility. I told you I wasn't sold on him. You were supposed to screen him.
He is an expert salesman.
And a better drinker.
All right. So we'll just fire him.
That's just a great idea, Charlie.
Would you like me to do it?
No. Charlie, would you mind if I gave you some constructive criticism?
Maybe.
This isn't a corporation. When we fire a man, he walks out of here with trade information that could bring us to our knees.
So?
So, you're sitting there saying, let's fire the man without thinking of the consequences.
And what would a high-powered executive like you do about it?
What I am going to do about it. Put some fear in the man. Fear shuts mouths.
And booze opens them right back up again.
So you want to clip him?
Let me favor you with a little constructive criticism of my own. Vince is on his way down here right now to chew off both our heads. The authorities are closing in, and all you can do is sit there and gripe about some insignificant salesman.
Vince isn't going to chew anyone's head off, least of all mine.
Oh, you two are as close as that.
I give him what he wants.
Including front-page publicity?
Charlie, I've been in this business a lot longer than you have. And though I've got to admit that we need it, your high-class appeal and your regal bearing are wearing just a little bit thin with me.
More of your constructive criticism?
All right, forget it. We got enough problems.
We certainly do. I'm worried about our transferring operation from your ships to our trucks.
Why? What's the trouble?
Well, we simply don't have enough professionals to handle the goods.
You get hung up on that word, don't you?
What's that?
Dope, smack!
All right. I'll get up on my street jargon. But haven't you heard anything I've said?
Transference. Sure. That is the easiest part of this operation. Now, only you and I know how the dope, pardon me, how the goods get delivered. And we're not talking, are we?
How do we know that the informant wasn't one of our own drivers?
No. It was probably somebody in Marseille. You can never be sure what's going on over there.
Well, if they can reach us from way over there, what about the local workers?
So what do you want to do about it?
I think I'm going to ask Norm Elliott not only to do some long hauling for us, but a little investigation on the side.
You'd trust him to do that after what he did to you and Miriam?
Oh, I can be very forgiving sometimes, Nick.
Yeah, sure, go ahead. I have to take care of Cummings.
Well, I've got a few things I have to take care of myself. See you later.
Goods. Jeez.
Those two could talk all day.
A lot to catch up on, I guess.
What's the matter, Miss D?
I was just thinking about Scott. You heard about the drug bust at the harbor.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure doing a heck of a job of selling myself with this family, aren't I?
We think a lot of you.
You mean about me?
No, Russ, that's not why I'm depressed. I mean it.
Okay. You worried about Mr. Davidson, huh? I really blew that one too, didn't I? About Cardello and everything.
Scott was determined to explore the drug racket before you were even involved.
Yeah, now I'm complicating everything, right?
That's enough. I mean, you're talking as if we're accusing you. We're not. Russ, if you want to help, just stay by Lori. Encourage her. Tell her what she means to you. That's what she needs, what this whole family needs.
You know why you're here, don't you?
Sure, I let you down.
Congratulations on the understatement of the year, Cummings.
You make it sound as if the company's fizzling all because of me.
What do you know about this company's problems?
Some things I heard about the bust.
Oh, that's great. Big surprise, big news, isn't it?
I have friends in places that know about those things.
I'm waiting.
Nick, I came here to get fired. I didn't come here to give out information. I think you're making a big mistake letting me go. I tip a few, but that's all. I can keep a secret. I never told anybody anything about Capital, not even my wife.
Yeah? I'm very impressed. Now, what do you know about this bust?
Am I finished with the company?
Anyone ever tell you you're a rummy, Cummings?
Yes.
Who?
My wife, my boss, friends, relatives.
Pretty unanimous, isn't it?
They don't understand me.
You know, even though you drink too much, and you're cocky, and you're slow, you lie and you cheat, and you're stupid enough to think you can fool me, there is just something about you, Cummings, that I can't stand. It's funny. You know, I think it's fascinating the way you think we are going to let you go. Cummings, you have seen everything. You know the contacts, the back room, the laundry, everything. When we wouldn't even let go a no-name, no-account mechanic who thought he knew what was going on here?
Nick, I did what I did with the mechanic for the sake of the company.
Knock it off. You can't lie to me for the sake of the company.
I thought I hit Lori Davidson's car.
Ah, shut up. You fixed that car because you thought I'd kill you knowing you were drunk.
Well, sure, that was part of it.
Just shut up.
Gladly. I'm sorry it didn't work out.
You know, Cummings, I think I'll let you go unharmed if you tell me what you know about the bust.
How can I trust you?
You can't.
All right, Scott Davidson was probably on the Coast Guard cutter during the bust.
How do you know?
His wife knows my wife. Terry tells Liz everything. She told her that Scott didn't get in till 11 in the morning the night of the bust.
So you're not really sure?
Well, practically. Scott's straight. He comes home at 7 every night. He doesn't drink. What would he stay out that late for? Unless it was something really important, and busting Cardello is practically an obsession with him.
Okay, you can go. By the way, Harry doesn't want you hanging around the cellar anymore. And Cummings, one word to anybody, I'm being tolerant. But I haven't had much practice being tolerant. So don't try me.
I knew all along it wasn't me that hit Laurie Davidson, and yet you let me stew. I practically went half out of my mind, crazy with guilt, and you never said a word.
Look, I thought Nick told you you're not allowed around here anymore.
You've been stringing me along. I thought we had something going.
Don't break my heart. Now let go of me. I made a mistake with you.
Well, welcome to the club.
What did Nick say to you?
He canned me for good. Then he left a threat hanging over my head that'll last the rest of my life, or his, whichever ends first.
Which'll kill you quicker, do you think? Playing with guns or too much alcohol? That'd make a great case study, wouldn't it?
I'd have knocked you through the window.
Don't bother. This place is below street level.
Why don't you shut up? Just shut up.
When I first met you, I thought you were so funny. So carefree. You've got enough problems to fill a front page.
Well, thanks to you.
You only have yourself to blame, Jeff. Always looking for an easy buck. Riding your bets on that smile. Well, it's all fading. Your odds get worse every year.
I'm so sorry I didn't live up to your stunning moral example.
We're finished. You know that, don't you? But I'll think about you from time to time. For a while, anyway.
Yeah, I'll think about you too, baby, every time I pass a straight lamp.
Bye.
There's something bothering you?
Did I mention that Vince Cardello is coming down to Richmond?
No, is there a problem?
Well, we did have a little interruption with our delivery service.
Your trucks?
No, the ships.
What'd you lose?
My, aren't we being inquisitive this evening?
Well, it takes a lot to get you perplexed.
Mim, you've heard about the drug arrests in the harbor?
Sure. Oh, no. Oh, no. I can't believe that.
Trench and Cardello have very large enterprises, and sometimes their business activities takes them into the lower denominator.
But drugs, Father, how could you?
You said drugs, I didn't.
So just what are you involved in?
A business. A very lucrative one, too, I might add.
But why?
The money. But I want you to know, Mim, I didn't know what Vince was after before we signed that contract.
Then what happened to that Redland boy?
He wasn't hurt.
Father, how could... I just don't see how in the world you could be involved in something like this.
I've never heard you complain about having too much money before.
Daddy, I never...
Mim, I know what I'm doing.
No, you don't. You're trapped.
Trapped? Don't be ridiculous.
Okay, then get out.
And do what?
Well, Dearborn Express, that's a legitimate trucking line. Now, just go ahead and manage that. That's...
Not at all. Cardello has increased my volume 100 times.
Oh, that's great. Now he's taking over?
No, he isn't. But when you team up with these people, Mim, there are certain implied commitments.
Father, don't lie to me. Save that for Mother.
Mim, I want you to go to Kingsley for a few days. Visit Frederick, your best friend. Doesn't make any difference to me. But
sure.
since Vince is coming down here, there may be trouble.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll just have a wonderful time in Kingsley, thinking about you bouncing around in some boat dredging for dope.
Don't test me, Mim.
I'm sorry.
And there's something else you must know. I think that Vince will probably want me to push some buttons. This Captain Marvel charade that Scott Davidson is playing has got to be stopped.
Father, you do that?
Yes, I can give the order. But, Mim, I want you to know I would find that very distressing to do. But you must also understand the alternatives I face. It's a nasty word, isn't it?
Murder.
Good?
Delicious. Thanks for getting it for me.
Here, let me take it. How you feeling, huh?
Great.
You recovering okay?
Got a water polo game lined up for tomorrow. How you been?
Okay. Better, maybe. It was all sort of closing in on me for a while there.
Russ, remember what you told me in the hospital? The faith that you showed? Do you still feel that way?
I'm ready for the ministry.
Sounds like something Becky would say.
Yeah, she did.
How is our friend?
We talked with her this afternoon.
Oh, well, I know, but you know, Becky, I mean, she'd say everything was looking up if she were lying on her deathbed.
Oh, and we're so honest?
Russ, what happens when I go back to Kingsley?
Well, after what happened between you and Paul and the accident and everything else, I'd say you have the sympathy of the entire campus. You're a shoo-in for homecoming queen.
That's not what I mean. What I mean is, do you remember why we drove down to see my parents?
Of course I do. You're still my girl. That hasn't changed.
Tell me that it never will.